Your lower back pain will not improve if you avoid lifting weights because it hurts. That's a misconception. The real key to overcoming lower back pain is to build a strong, flexible body. Avoiding movements like deadlifts because they hurt your lower back is often the wrong approach. The problem isn't the exercise, it's the technique, load management, and underlying imbalances. One of our long-time UMS online coaching tribe members has been a spine surgeon for over 20 years. Initially, he believed deadlifting was dangerous for people with lower back pain, but after working with us and learning how to deadlift correctly with proper form and progressive overload, he changed his mind completely. Now he believes that deadlifting is one of the best exercises to strengthen and protect the lower back. And that's the problem with so many physios, doctors, and even surgeons. They rely too heavily on what they learned in textbooks, declarative knowledge, without ever applying it in the real world. Pavel, the spine surgeon, is a perfect example. It wasn't until he experienced proper deadlifting firsthand that he changed a professional opinion he had held for 2 decades. I'll share a link to that full interview at the end of this video. I know how confusing it is when you see conflicting advice online. So, who do you trust? You need to listen to people with real-world experience, not just academic knowledge. Here's the difference. Declarative knowledge is knowing about something. It's theoretical. Procedural knowledge is knowing how to do it. That comes from experience. Just because someone can recite the theory doesn't mean they know how to coach you through the pain, build strength, or restore movement. Reading and watching videos doesn't make someone an expert. Doing the work does. And I've done the work because I had no choice. When I was serving as an infantry soldier on deployment in the Australian Army, I suffered a bilateral pars fracture. That injury progressed into spondylolisthesis and spondylosis. My lower back pain was brutal. You can see here in this CT scan the injury. The pain was relentless, chronic, gnawing, and unforgiving. I relied on painkillers just to get through each day. I felt like a shadow of the man that I used to be. Doctors told me my best years were behind me, but I refused to accept that. I was determined to get my life back. I wanted to chase physical goals that I'd always dreamed of without being crippled by my spine. So I went all in on recovery. For 2 years, I worked tirelessly with physiotherapists and chiropractors, studying, training, and learning how to rebuild my body. I had to test everything. I had to feel it. I had to earn it through practice. And by age 36, I was completely pain-free and hungry to push further. So what's the secret? It's all about load management and structural balance. We'll get to structural balance in a moment, but first, let's talk about load management. Load is a combination of intensity, how heavy you lift, and volume, how much you do. Your spine, especially your lower back, has a load capacity based on your strength and flexibility. And if you push beyond that capacity, you'll aggravate weak points. Imagine your load capacity is like this little jar, and everything that you do in a day adds load into that jar. Picking up weights, picking up a gas bottle, playing with your kids, it all adds load to your jar. And by the time you go to the gym, your jar might already be full. And then it only takes a couple of reps before your jar overflows, you trigger a spasm, and you're in acute pain. Imagine you have a chain that can hold 200 pounds, but one of the links in the chain is rusted and can only hold 50 pounds. If you try to pick up 100 pounds with that chain, half of what it can take, that weak link is going to be overloaded and it will break. Now imagine that your spine is that chain, and the joint where you have a bulging disc or a herniated disc or spondylolisthesis or any other form of degeneration, that joint is the weak link in the chain. Now you can lift 200 pounds on a deadlift. You've done it many times before, but that weak joint has a load capacity of only 50 pounds. And so knowing this, you go to the gym and you plan to do a light deadlift session where you're just going to lift 100 pounds, half of what you know you can handle. But in that session, you exceed the load capacity of that compromised joint and bam, you have a flare-up, a spasm, and you blame deadlifting as a bad exercise. Wrong. Deadlifts are one of the best exercises that you can do to alleviate lower back pain permanently, because the solution is to increase the strength of the muscles that support the spine, which in turn strengthens the spine and increases its load capacity. Avoiding strength training means you're getting weaker, and that means that your load capacity is decreasing. And then anytime you try to lift anything, you're going to exceed your load capacity, which is now lower, and you're going to trigger a spasm and just stay in that injury cycle. It is vital that you strengthen your body and increase your load capacity. And we do this through load management, progressive overload, and structural balance training. Load management just means that you train in a way that never exceeds your load capacity. which means that you need to leave your ego at the door. Because even though you can deadlift 200 pounds, you train for the weak link. So you're going to be deadlifting 50 pounds because you must never exceed the load capacity of the weakest link in your body. Progressive overload means that you just gradually increase the load on your body over time. But you never use progressive overload until you've optimized technique in the fundamental lifts. For the conventional barbell deadlift, we set up with the feet under the hips and bar over the center of the feet, hands under the shoulders, crown of the head up, shoulders pulled down and arms straight. If your feet are wider than your hips, then your hands need to grab on the barbell wider, increasing the depth you need to squat in order to reach the barbell and placing unnecessary load on the body. Ensure your feet are no wider than your hips and your hands are directly underneath the shoulders. The bar must stay over the center of the feet at all times, meaning the bar must travel vertically. 2 inches of forward movement with the bar doubles the lateral force on your lower back, significantly increasing the load, which risks injury. How much your knees push forwards depends on the individual. Everybody's body is different. Just set the bar up over the center of your feet and squat down as low as you can until your shins touch the bar, but do not let the shins push the bar over the toes. From here, keep your arms straight and pull your shoulders down into the back pockets, also known as scapular depression. This engages the lats. Keep the crown of the head up and push the ground away from you. During the eccentric phase, ensure that your knees do not prematurely push forward so that the bar has to travel around the knees. The bar must travel vertically during the concentric phase on the way up and during the eccentric phase on the way down. When performing a deadlift, the 3 cues to think of are arms straight and shoulders down, crown of the head up, push the ground away from you. Now, optimizing technique requires working with a coach, and I recommend that you try our UMS online coaching, even if it's just for a few months, so you really get your technique dialed in. All right, let's dive into the details of structural balance training. Structural balance training is the foundation of a resilient, high-performing body. Unlike traditional strength training, which often focuses on isolated muscle groups, structural balance training ensures the body develops strength, flexibility, and stability in harmony. This method prioritizes symmetry between muscle groups across joints, reducing the risk of injury and optimizing movement efficiency. If you're the kind of person that likes pushing your body to the limit, getting structural balance right isn't optional, it's essential. If you ignore it, pain and injuries will eventually force you to stop training the way you want. Even elite athletes have suffered the consequences of imbalances, with legendary bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman developing severe joint issues due to years of pushing through imbalance-related injuries. Here's the 5 pillars of structural balance training. First is left to right symmetry. A structurally balanced body has equal strength and flexibility between the left and right sides. When one arm or leg is stronger or more mobile than the other, the body compensates, leading to inefficient movement patterns, decreased performance, and increased risk of injury. To achieve this, we prioritize dumbbell and unilateral work. Next is balance between antagonistic muscle groups. Muscles work in pairs. One contracts while the other relaxes. Structural balance training ensures that opposing muscle groups maintain optimal strength and flexibility ratios, preventing instability and injury. An example of this is balance between the bicep and tricep. Next is upper and lower body strength balance. A structurally balanced athlete must develop upper and lower body strength proportionally. Many people overemphasize either their upper or lower body, leading to inefficiencies in movement and an increased risk of injury. Don't make the mistake of only training the muscles that directly affect lower back pain. All right, next is balance between stabilizers, the inner unit of unseen muscles, and prime movers, the outer unit of muscles that we can see in the mirror. Every major joint has inner unit stabilizers that provide control and outer unit prime movers that generate power. When stabilizers are weak, prime movers compensate, leading to joint dysfunction, pain, and injuries. We don't just want to train the glutes and hamstrings. We want to train core control with anti-rotation and anti-extension exercises to enhance core stability. And we want to use hip and knee stability drills like single leg deadlifts and step-ups. And finally is balance between strength and flexibility. Strength without flexibility leads to stiffness and reduced range of motion. Flexibility without strength creates instability and vulnerability to injury. True structural balance requires mobility, active flexibility, paired with strength at every joint. Common imbalances you've probably seen is a strong lifter who can squat 200 kilograms but can't touch their toes, or a hypermobile yogi who can fold forward effortlessly but can't perform a strict pull-up. The corrective approach is to train strength and flexibility together. Maintain a 1-to-1 ratio of strength to flexibility exercises in every workout. Do not separate strength and flexibility into different sessions. It just takes too long, and it means that you're always going to neglect the one that you don't like doing the most. To see how we get it done in one workout in the Unified Movement System, head to unitygym.com. Here's why structural balance matters. Injury prevention. Structural imbalances overload the spine and surrounding joints, making lower back pain more likely. For example, weak glutes and hamstrings force the lower back to compensate, leading to strain, fatigue, and eventually injury. Just like a weak rotator cuff can lead to shoulder impingement. Next is increased strength and performance. A well-balanced body moves more efficiently, allowing athletes to generate more force with less effort, maintain joint integrity under heavy loads, and avoid compensation patterns that lead to fatigue and injury. And finally, faster rehabilitation from injuries. Most chronic lower back injuries stem from structural imbalances. Training for balance often resolves pain naturally as movement patterns improve. Examples: lower back pain from weak glutes. When the glutes are underdeveloped, the lower back takes over during movements like squats or deadlifts. Strengthening the glutes reduces compensation and relieves pressure on the lumbar spine. Lower back pain from tight hip flexors. Prolonged sitting shortens the hip flexors, pulling the pelvis into an anterior tilt. Improving hip mobility restores alignment and reduces lumbar strain. Lower back pain from poor core stability. Without strong, deep core muscles, the spine lacks support under load. Strengthening the transverse abdominis and obliques helps stabilize the lumbar spine and prevent injury. So assess your weaknesses. Identify them through programming that's designed to uncover them. Follow programs with ratios in mind, so you have optimal strength balance ratios between opposing muscle groups. Prioritize unilateral and stability work. Single limb exercises and stability drills should be staples in every training cycle. Integrate flexibility and strength. Never separate mobility work from strength training. Train them together in every session. I hope you've learned that avoiding strength training due to lower back pain is the worst thing that you can do. It guarantees you'll stay weak. It keeps you stuck in pain. The real solution is to build strength and flexibility together so you can safely increase your body's load capacity and move without fear. We've helped thousands of people around the world do exactly that with the Unified Movement System, aka UMS online coaching. If you're ready to leave your back pain behind, click the link and join us. And if you want to watch that full interview with Pavel, the spine surgeon, you can watch it right there, and I'll see you in that next video.